Okay, slide guitar music that comes in every Monday through Friday live at 5 in the Evil FB Network, Rumble, X, YouTube. Check us out, subscribe. Type in iNewsWire, Roy Blecker. You'll see my nice, smiling, shining face. Lots of stuff. More people are pissed about those flock cameras. More on what people have to say up and down the state. More on the bullet train and how that absolute fiasco keeps torturing us in our pocketbooks to death. Javier Baccaria puts his thumb on lower income again, while claiming he's just here to help you. Susan Shelley will be on at the bottom of the hour. But we start with gamesmanship 3 wide and the Knoxville Nationals coming down to a 3 wide finish, coming off a turn 4 at the famed Speedway. Here's some of the action on the last lap. Here we go.
McFadden on the bottom with the lead. Chase Park on the top, and there's traffic right in front of the leaders down the back straightaway. Park to the inside, rolling into turn number 3. McFadden says no as Park gets back to the cushion.
Chase Park to the top. Here comes Sheldon Hodenshield. They're nose to tail down the front straightaway. Who will get the win? Sheldon Hodenshield ekes the win out.
So in the never give up file, third to first. In the last corner, Sheldon Hodenshield pulled it off on the opening night at the Knoxville Nationals. I gotta say this, no matter what the racing this year, from the Crown Vics, Hillbilly 100, Knoxville Nationals, everything in between, the racing across the board has just been absolutely fantastic. Here's Sheldon Hodenshield. Got the gamesmanship going on there on that last lap. Hopefully, here we go.
28 and the 21 there, they got to play in a couple games on the white flag, and I saw the 21 cut down real hard, and I knew he kind of probably lost a little bit of momentum. And then he slid across the track, and I was like, man, if I could get my right rear where I've been putting it, I think I will have a shot, long as they don't close that gap too soon.
And they didn't close that gap. Again, Sheldon Hodenshield going into turn 3 and third, coming out of turn 4 and down and taking the checkered flag first. An opening qualifying night in the Knoxville Nationals. The second half of the field will be out tonight. Kyle Larson will be in, and he won't make the Saturday A main unless it rains and becomes a Sunday A main if he does qualify. But he will be running there tonight at the famed Knoxville Speedway. The highlights of the Tektron 250. This is a unique race at Berlin in Michigan. They do 5 50-lap segments for 250 laps. Carson Hocevar was there, Ty Majeski from NASCAR, along with the local guys who run this. Here's some of the action. Kicking it off, here we go.
Making that outside line work. He's going to grab the lead here on lap number 51.
Caution
big
flag.
wreck, big wreck.
Caution flag in the front stretch.
Cletus involved. Looks like he spun there. Keith Herp involved. Looks like potentially some big damage there on the.
Cletus McFarland was in a lot of the crashes and wrecks. And that one guy that made that S swerve, man, that's a pretty good 5G maneuver he pulled off. Again, more of the action. Here we go.
Yeah, this is going to be after the fact. Let's see here. Oh, there it is.
Riding them high and heavy.
And we're back to green. Rode him all the way
fast.
down there.
I guess he thought he needed an assist.
Evan Shotko gets a good jump.
That was a... Hey, how you doing, buddy? Here's the finish coming down. Hopefully. Here we go.
He's changing. Unexpectedly with 6 laps to go. Can you believe this? Tristan McKee with a final 5 laps is going to win this thing. The Tecton 250 is in the books. Tristan McKee takes it to victory.
Tristan McGee won it over Pollard, Hocevar, and Majeski running at the top. We'll get into more of the bullet train fiasco. People are flocked off about the flock cameras and more. Javier Baccaria hosing the lower income people all the while saying, oh, we're just here to help you. And much, much more in today's show. Yes. Get the right switcher going. Some of the things that we have to endure. The reason we got the bullet train going from Wasco north of Bakersfield to Merced is because the Obama administration said, oh, you can't run a straight shot from LA to San Francisco. That would be racist. And everybody's dying of asthma in the Central Valley. And you got all these commuters going from Wasco to Merced that you could get them off the road, stop police. That was their idiotic argument. For giving the $4 billion and rerouting the whole thing up there. Now, Baccaria. Oh, it's climate change. It's affecting people of color. What people are not people of color, Baccaria? This whole thing is a frickin' ruse. There is really no such thing as a white person. Because a white person is a ghost because you cannot see white. You cannot see pure white. But Baccaria will not talk about the disproportionality that low income are affected by taxing the poor. Sales taxes are regressive. More of poor, lower income people's income go to pay sales taxes, gas taxes, and every other tax than they do this whole tax the rich. The climate con has jacked electricity prices up through the moon, which you heard is a power hour. He admits we got to give power away because of solar electricity. We have to give, not only do we not give it, we have to pay. Arizona, Utah, Nevada, whoever will take the electricity produced to peak hours because it will burn up the grid and nobody will have any frickin' power. It is an infinitesimal amount of pollution affected one way or the other. All AB 32 on down has effect on our environment in California and the world and the universe. This whole thing, just like the illegal alien stuff, is about power and control and making you the slave and Baccaria and crew the slave master. Let's hear Baccaria.
Face more than their fair share of pollution and health hazards, and they are hit first and worst by climate change. In California, The top 10% of communities most impacted by pollution are overwhelmingly communities of color. More than 18% of Latinos and 17% of African Americans in our state reside in one of those communities that's hardest hit, compared to less than 3% of our white brothers and sisters. That's why at the California Department of Justice, we established an Environmental Justice Bureau for California and for them. Our team of attorneys is working day in and day out to protect the most vulnerable from pollution.
No, you're not. You're subjecting them by never allowing them the opportunity to get out of the low-income areas to living in that area. You know, they cannot afford to move to Malibu or Monterey. And they never will under your policies that are going to keep them enslaved to you. Your illegal immigration, which is dropping the price of labor every day, from those technical college degrees to those picking the grapes. And you know it, you ignorant piece of trash. I don't care what shade of brown skin tone you got, you are a frickin' moron, evil, clot-shotting, killing people, stomping on their opportunity and their longevity so you can sell their kids into labor and sex slavery. And you can keep them in the barrio so you can keep them enslaved and working for you so you can be the king. It's beyond heartbreaking what these moronic yo-yos are trying and successfully doing to us. This is what the cartels, this is what they are bringing. You want Mexico in the United States? You want a cartel run? That, look what the cartels do down in Mexico. We shall see, hopefully.
The dichotomy I've experienced today was we've got, like, it was like one video is like a Mexican streamer just being assassinated on live stream. Totally brutal, horrific.
No.
But it does represent.
There you go. Popular live streamer down in Mexico. Cartels go, hey. Boom, you're dead. That's Javier Baccaria. That's the next step. He's going to take what Gavin Newsom has done, and because I'm Mexican, or my name ends in a vowel, and my skin is on the darker side of brown, you don't obey, you're going to get a bullet to the head. You complain, you'll get a bullet to the head and we'll throw you in the middle of the street. We'll cut your head off and then say, who wants to be next? That's Javier That's why he can sell kids into sex. 500,000, not 1 or 2 or 10 or, oh, well, we made a mistake. 500,000 into sex and labor slavery. It's a humongous freaking crime. Of beyond epic proportions. '68 California retired 68-year-old California retiree was stabbed to death outside a Bay Area home, allegedly by an illegal alien immigrant who had been released from jail 1 day earlier. Police say Todd Stewart encountered 36-year-old Venezuelan national Marcos Ariante Valdez during an alleged burglary. According to the report, Valdez had 2 prior burglary cases and had been released by the courts. DHS is now calling on California officials to keep Valdez in custody and turn him over to ICE. Valdez is expected to be arraigned this afternoon. Well, it's too frickin' late for Todd Stewart, because he's dead, just like that influencer down in Mexico. Here's the Fox News report.
An illegal immigrant is charged with killing a 68-year-old retiree in California. Police say Todd Stewart was stabbed to death on the front lawn of his home in the Bay Area. The accused killer was released from jail 1 day before this horrifying attack. Senior national correspondent William Lajeunesse has more. Hi, William.
Well, Martha, 4 things make this an unbelievable case. 1, the suspect's illegal status. 2, he had at least 2 priors and yet was released twice by the courts. 3, police had caught this guy using the automated license plate reader that so many police critics want to ban because they might be used to expose illegal immigrants. And finally, had this not happened in a sanctuary state, ICE could have detained him and the murder never happened. Now, the warning, this video is a little graphic. Last week near San Francisco, a 36-year-old from Venezuela, unprovoked, attacks a 60-year-old man working in his garage and allegedly stabs him to death. The murder happens a day after he was released from jail on his own recognizance for, get this, violating the terms of his prior arrest. So actually the courts released him twice, despite what police say were 2 prior burglaries. Neighbors say 68-year-old Todd Stewart stopped what would have been a 3rd burglary when Marcos Arate Valdez allegedly killed him.
There was some yelling going on from what I understand from the neighbors, and then apparently it looks like he chased the man out of the garage, and then he was stabbed in front of Ryan's house.
DHS releasing this statement on X. This Venezuelan illegal alien stabbed a father to death in Sanctuary, California. Governor Gavin Newsom must not release this murderer from jail and turn him over to us so we can remove him from our nation. So neighbors say Stewart had lived in this house for 4 decades, loved his wife and 2 daughters. He was building a shed in the garage when he was killed. Arate Valdez will be arraigned this afternoon.
As we say, does Todd Stewart no good? Javier Balcarria, Gavin Newsom keep these criminals in our country to kill us, to degrade our standard of living, to lower the price of labor so you can make less so they can keep you in the barrio and slaves and be thankful for your bucket of gruel a day. And that we don't beat you with chains as long as you don't give us no lip. This is absolutely amazing, put out by the U.S. Attorney's Office. California jails forced to transfer hundreds of criminally illegal aliens into federal custody 1 year into Operation Guardian Angel. Since its launch last year, Operation Guardian Angel, a program that seeks to neutralize California's sanctuary state policy, has resulted in 362 arrests of criminally illegal aliens from county jails into federal custody in the Los Angeles, Inland Empire, and Central Coast. California district comprised of counties of that. We got 362, but again, that did not do Todd Stewart any good. He's dead. At the gun, allegedly, of an illegal alien. Valdez. And California had to be forced. How many lives were saved? Of the 362, California was forced to turn from the county jails over to ICE into federal custody so they could either be charged or deported as they should be. It's beyond ridiculous. It's beyond any sort of logical path. But here we are today living it. And I don't know, but maybe just by the grace of God or something, we're able to maintain some semblance of a society. More. CBS has a follow-up on the bullet train boondoggle. It's going to wipe out pollution for those of color. So they will no longer have asthma if we built a bullet train, according to Javier Baccaria. He's going full steam ahead with this. More from CBS in Sacramento. Hopefully, here we go.
Good evening. As always, thank you so much for joining us. On to the point, I'm Alex Bell. A new report is raising questions on how the state will secure more money as a shortened version of the project is now expected to run out of funding by December 2027. ABC 10's Janine Nguyen breaks down a new report and the response from both sides of the aisle.
It's no secret Republicans have labeled this project a major failure, and now a new report from the Office of Inspector General is adding fuel to that fire. Even so, Democratic leaders remain optimistic about the project's future.
I'm not surprised that it looks like we're going to run out of money by the end of 2027. They don't have a reliable funding source. And we keep putting more and more billions of dollars into a project that I believe everybody in this building knows will never be built as proposed to the people of California.
Republican Senator.
That's Tony Strickland, senator from Huntington Beach. Javier Baccaria wants to go full steam ahead. Full steam ahead on this project. We could have built a 6-lane freeway back and forth from LA to San Francisco for what they've spent on a nothing train. No track, no trains, no nothing.
Senator Tony Strickland says one of the most alarming points made in this 43-page report is that the High-Speed Rail Authority will run out of cash by December 2027. As vice chair of the Senate Transportation Committee, Strickland believes there is a better way to use the money.
I have a bill that would suspend the gas tax or lower gas prices by $1.80 a gallon, $1,100 per family at a time when we have affordability crisis in California. Or we could shift a lot of that funds for this one project, and we have shovel-ready projects across the state of California that would be better for the people of California than continuing to waste billions of dollars.
The report also highlights the authority's reduced version of the Merced to Bakersfield corridor, which would save a little more than $1 billion. But the Inspector General's office says that doesn't make the project more cost-effective. The plan shortens the route by 9 miles, moves the Merced station away from downtown, and would initially end at a temporary station north of Bakersfield. Work is being pushed to a later date. The authority's reduced scope plan is estimated at about $35.7 billion, and the Inspector General warns that price could be even higher.
They're going to have to put rats and cockroaches if, by some humongous miracle, the train that we have no cars, the train that we have no tracks, the train that we bump $20 billion into so far. This is beyond insanity. And Javier Becerr wants to go dump more money in it. We would be better off if we just took the billions and lit a match and burn it to the ground.
For context, voters approved the San Francisco to Los Angeles system in 2008 with an estimated cost of $33 billion. Republican candidate for governor Steve Hilton spoke outside the Capitol Tuesday about cutting the project and instead reduce taxes.
Your first 150 grand tax-free, and we're going to do that by eliminating waste from our budget. And today we are laying out the first steps in doing that. Number one, canceling high-speed rail.
ABC 10 tried asking Democratic Senator Dave Cortese, chair of the Senate Transportation Committee, for an interview about the new Inspector General report. He refused to speak, saying he hasn't had time to look at it, but will comment once he does. Democratic gubernatorial candidate Javier Becerr also has been an open supporter of the project.
We're going to fight to get our money from the federal government, first and foremost. We pay more money to the federal treasury than does any other state. We deserve to get our fair share back. Our taxpayers should not be ripped off the way the Trump administration is doing.
Becerr
from a state with the highest almost every tax, income tax, gas tax, sales tax. The only thing we're not on property tax is just because of Prop 13, and we're in like the top 10, even with Prop 13. So he has the goal. How about we not send it there in the first place? The amount of stupidity that guys like Becerr and Newsom and George Bush have shoved down your throat is amazing, except this is why they had to destroy, and starting with the California education system. Because when people had half a brain in their head because they had a real education, a useful education, you could not shove this stuff down their throat.
Acknowledged the project's current issues, adding that change will happen if he's elected governor.
We cannot run high-speed rail construction the way it's been done. And so we need to take a look at what's going on. If I need to overhaul it, that's what I'll do. But I do believe we need high-speed rail.
The authority responded to the Office of the Inspector General's report about securing financing by December 2027. It is considering financing options to keep the Merced to Bakersfield project on schedule and will provide more updates on funding option in its 2027 project update. In a statement to ABC 10, a spokesperson says, in part, it values constructive oversight, adding that it's moving into its track laying phase and making...
Shut up. We're moving into its track laying phase. People are hot about the flock cameras. You're you.
Cameras to quickly identify stolen cars and locate vehicles connected to crimes, but there is concern about the data those cameras capture. Now, as KCRA3's Denson Cortez reports, state lawmakers are considering restricting how authorities can use, share, and store your information.
More than one thing can be true at the same time.
A crime-fighting tool now at the center of a growing debate across California.
It's a useful tool, and we need them.
Automated license plate readers capture plates as vehicles pass, creating data investigators can later search. Now, state lawmakers are considering new limits on how that information can be kept, accessed, and shared.
With these enhancements come concerns.
The new state bill would put guardrails around data, generally limiting storage to 30 days, tightening how the data is shared, and requiring law enforcement searches to be tied to a case and logged each use.
City of Elk Grove is 30 days. It should be longer.
Sacramento County Sheriff Jim Cooper among the law enforcement leaders pushing back. He says investigators may not know a vehicle is connected to a crime until months later.
Well, like I said, April 18th, we just had an arrest today.
Cooper pointing to an April smash and grab in South Sacramento where an employee was injured.
LPR, license plate readers, play a part in it to rule people out and also to arrest bad guys.
So, Sheriff, I'm a viewer. If I haven't committed a crime and I'm driving, why should my license plate be stored on records and data months later?
We're not going to go look at that database. There's a lot of information stored. We're not going and accessing the information. If we're going to access that information, it's for a specific reason, a specific license plate or person.
This was very, very difficult on many, many levels.
But in Grass Valley, a different decision.
The technology has helped to solve countless cases.
Police crediting the cameras for helping in over 100 stolen vehicle recoveries and arrests. But in a letter to the community, Grass Valley Police says the system has evolved to include much more powerful computer intelligence tools.
The Grass Valley Police Department has decided to indefinitely suspend the use of fixed-point ALPR readers.
A decision to step away from a tool the department says worked as other law enforcement agencies fight to keep it.
I'm passionate about it.
So there you have it, Grass Valley cops, even though flock cameras and, for stolen vehicles and stuff, they are very useful. And, they're not 111% bad. But as the Grass Valley cop said, overall, we're concerned and we're pulling the flock cameras from Grass Valley. Overall, when you put 50% plus or minus, Grass Valley cops said minus, and most of the public is saying minus, minus, minus. This is going to be a debate and discussion all across this state. And well, it should be, because this is where, where does your right to privacy end and the greater good of public safety begin? Or where is that line? Obviously, many people have varying opinions, even in the law enforcement community. You have Jim Cooper from Sacramento, they're saying, yeah, we charge. You have Grass Valley cops saying, well, we don't, we got some major concerns about this.
30 seconds.
And we are definitely pulling the plug on the flock. As Jesse said, we'll be joining the Mighty KMET 1490. Maybe we'll have Susan Shelley on today. Who knows if she calls in, we'll have her on and get an update.
10 seconds and Susan's on the line.
And her columns and everything else. Hang loose.
Today, IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
There's that funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday live at 5:30 in the Mighty Met 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire and the aforementioned AM band. Join our vast video audience on the Evil FB Network, YouTube. Check us out, subscribe, type in IE Newswire Roy Bleckert. You'll see my nice, smiling, shining face. 3 wide photo finish at the beginning of the Knoxville Nationals last night. Tonight's the second night qualifier on that. Great finish to the Tektron 250 in Berlin. Catch all the great racing reports, the first part of our show in our archives. Top of that, Javier Baccaria. More plans, not only to... He wants to keep funding the bullet train, full steam ahead. Let's throw more money down that and use class and racist warfare to make you a slave, especially keeping those of color, as the racist calls them, as slaves of that. And wants to bring the Mexican cartel way, like we showed. Oh, like they did. They pulled up in Mexico, shot the influencer right in the head, right in the middle of the street. That's what Javier Bacaria's California, as his America was, 500,000 kids sold into sex and slave labor, I guess I should say. There's a dyslexic coming in. It's absolutely incredible what we're facing today. But, well, we usually do it on a Wednesday, but we're doing it today on a Thursday. We have the famed editorial columnist for the Press Enterprise, San Bernardino Sun, Inland Daily Bulletin, Redlands Daily Facts, more important to me, Vice President of Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, Susan Shelley. Welcome to iNewsWire with Roy.
Thank you, Roy. Great to be with you.
Man, what do you think of this whole Baccaria thing? The class warfare, we're going full steam ahead on the bullet train. And the reason it got diverted from north of Bakersfield to Merced was because of climate change, and Obama said this, and they're diverting it around, and it's never going to happen anyway. And the complete stupidity that's coming on. And it seems like we're going to double down on this, but what say you, Susan?
I really think we should have deep concerns about someone running for governor who's this bad at math. Because honestly, if he thinks that the federal money would have been enough to do this project, he doesn't have any idea how much it's costing, how much the federal money was going to cover. It was $4 billion. The thing is in a deep, deep hole. They're probably much more short of money than that, just for the Merced to Bakersfield segment. And that doesn't go anywhere. You need a bus. If you want to get to LA, you need a bus from Bakersfield to get to LA. So the whole thing is a waste of money. The ridership projections are comical. The whole thing is silly. And it's never going to be able to go from San Francisco to Los Angeles. It never is. It's not even in the business plan that it will. It's going to go around the horn and then come down on a bus. So even at that, it could be as much as $230 billion, and we don't have that. So it's just showing us once again that the powerful unions that are milking the project run the state. They run all the Democratic candidates in the state. Everyone wants to continue the bullet train. Becerr tries to walk a line in the middle saying, well, I'm against it, but I'm for it. I don't think it's going to work, but I think we need to get the money to do it in a way that it will work. It's not going to work. We've been at this since 2008. Pull the plug. Steve Hilton's right.
1,000%. I mean, I don't know, or what just, I can't wrap my head around is how we can, after we went through Moonbeam Brown, then Gavin Newsom, now we're to the point of, we're going to double down on more stupidity with Javier Baccaria. I mean, it seems impossible, but we're living it.
It's very frustrating. It really is, because he's just terrible. And even the Democrats thought so. And somehow he wound up with the nomination after Swalwell fell out. So this is just very frustrating. It will be a catastrophe if he's elected governor. He's just terrible. And I hope that Steve Hilton can get some momentum and get going. I hope they do a bunch of debates. Obviously, Becerra's ducking the debates, ducking interviews, ducking everything he can duck, hoping to do the Joe Biden strategy to just cruise in because no one knows a reason not to. But I know the reason not to, and I hope that people hear it before they vote.
I just saw a new poll, and I haven't been able to look at it, but I heard he's down to 50, Baccaria 55, and Steve Hilton's still at the 37. There was another poll that had Baccaria above 60, which most Democrats, Newsom's got that, Jerry Brown's got the last 3 or 4 elections of that. I mean, it's encouraging if that's a trend that Baccaria is coming down, but Steve Hilton's not rising. Here, elections are a math game, and this is the way I see it. You know, there's a poll out, well, Steve Hilton's barely leading Orange County. You got to win Orange County 2-1. Riverside, San Bernardino, San Diego, about 60%, along with the Central Valley, Northern California, probably 2-1, to counteract LA and San Francisco. That's the path to victory as the November election comes out, as I see it. And unless somebody can convince me different, that's really the real. Elections are all really a math game in the end. Who gets the most votes, and that's if you're going to get 50% plus one for Steve Hilton. That's how you got to do it. What say you, Susan Shelley?
Well, the math is very daunting. And, even if the elections were totally legitimate, which I don't think they necessarily are, it's a very steep climb given the voter registration in this state and given the political machine and all the unions being out there doing ballot harvesting. This is very difficult. It's not to say that there couldn't be a black swan event that changes everything. There's going to be a sentencing or a plea bargain or something in October related to his former chief of staff and Newsom's former chief of staff. We don't know what's going to come out there. And there's also a trial starting in Oakland, I believe in October, right around the time the ballots drop, involving the current attorney general. And who knows how many different ways that might touch Becerr, who's the former attorney general, and maybe he knows something. I don't know, but if there's handcuffs, there's hope. Otherwise, this is looking like a very steep climb. We're 6 weeks from the ballots dropping. This is very steep.
Yes, and that's what's intrigued me is McCluskey, Campbell, and Dana the Hammer Williamson. Why are they all? And they stacked their sentencing all up like right just before the election. Like in this October area where the voting started to be counting. I mean, it could be coincidence, it could be something, but I found that why do they keep delaying? What's the point now that if they haven't made a deal, or there isn't something going on here, or they aren't trying to trade less sentence for their testimony? There doesn't seem to be any other explanation I can come up with why the delay in sentencing for those three, Susan.
I think you're right. It might be that they're cooperating and that will affect their sentencing, and the prosecutors gave them a little more time, or the judge gave them a little more time, or it could be something procedural like lawyers on vacation and schedule changes. I don't really know, but it would be very unfortunate if we got through the election and Becerr was elected and then it all came out, because then we'd be stuck. What are we going to do? We're going to recall him? I guess we could. This is very difficult.
Just on another note, and to prove that I did get my 100 signs for yes on 43.
Excellent.
And as we got, and we're going to show you, there's the first one we took a picture of up, that's with Joanne Martinez Stephan, who's running on city council. And I really love the signs with the wire, if you look, for those people looking on the video that Howard Jarvis does, because you can slip them right, like in Joanne's sign, you can slip the wires right into the perforations in between their plastic signs, and you can put these up in like 10 seconds, on top of somebody else's plastic sign. So it makes it really convenient, but we're starting to stake out the territory here in Moval with the yes on 43, save Prop 13, protect taxpayers. This is going to be a main issue coming in here in this election coming up. And I think with all the work you and John and Howard Jarvis, taxpayers, and all of us have done, with all the rigmarole we went through to get this on, I think we got a very good chance of stacking up and getting yes on 43 through the line in November, Susan.
Well, we're working as hard as we can. We're putting out the signs. We have door hanger flyers. You can use them as a flyer or a card to hand them to someone. You can put them on a doorknob if you want to walk around in your neighborhood and say hello, or even not say hello and just put them on the doorknob and run. We have those, and we have notepads, and we have campaign buttons, and we're ready to go for a full volunteer effort. We're just getting our sign-up sheet organized, and we're going to bring in a couple of people to help us ship everything out to everybody, and we'll be ready probably middle of next week to get all that going. And then we're going to do a radio campaign that starts at the end of September and runs all the way through the month of October while people are voting. We're very confident that we can get that message out. I just wrote a piece for Cal Matters about why you should vote yes on 43, and that's been picked up in a bunch of newspapers. So that's also online if anybody wants to check it out at calmatters.org in the opinion section. Look for my name. And that's what we're up to. It's been really, really busy. We're a small organization, small staff, but we punch above our weight, and we're going to work as hard as we can.
Why don't you hit a few highlights of your Cal Matters article on why you should vote for Prop 43, Susan?
Well, the story of why this is necessary has to do with the courts. Proposition 13 said in 1978, this is the voters amending their own constitution. It says that a special tax needs a 2/3 vote of the electorate to pass. And that was a special tax is where the money is earmarked for a particular purpose. General taxes are something else, those pass with a simple majority. But special taxes, where the money is locked, that needs a 2/3 vote. It was that way from 1978 all the way to 2017, and then the California Supreme Court decided to create a loophole. And the loophole says that if a tax increase is put on the ballot by citizens who want to raise their own taxes with an initiative, with signatures on petitions, the Constitution doesn't apply, and it doesn't need a 2/3 vote. And this loophole from 2017 till now has been used for all these different special interest groups and governments working with special interest groups pretending to be citizens. It has enabled tax increase after tax increase to pass with fewer votes than the 2/3 required. We're closing that loophole. That's all this is. We're putting back what's already in the Constitution. Special taxes need a 2/3 vote to pass. We are making it harder to raise taxes.
That's
we're very excited. This is a very successful message for people.
That's all. That's all. I mean, if nothing else, if people just get that part, I think we're in the clear. And I think they're realizing every day that they're turning around, and hopefully, yes on 43, say Prop 13, and this ever assault we've been in by, Newsom, now Baccaria, Rivas, and all this other, everything else that's went on, from climate change to higher electricity prices to $6 a gallon gas and everything else. I don't know if it's hope or whatever, or maybe we can educate a majority of 50% plus one in 26 to get this job done. Let's not do the same thing over and over and hope for a different result. 10 to your columns for the week. In the Southern California News Group, California's green energy fantasy is leaving residents in the dark. Susan Shelley.
Yes, there was a study out of Texas of federal records showing that California leads the nation in power outages. Aren't we proud? We had almost 500 power outages in 10 years, averaging 41 hours in duration, affecting 32 million people. Now, this is not your little average, the power goes out for an hour. These are the long, major, grid disrupting power outages. We led the nation. Aren't we proud? And at the same time, there was another study that said why California just broke a solar power record. For the first time in the history of the world, all the electricity generated in California, 51% was solar. And guess what the loophole is on that? They didn't count imported electricity in calculating that percentage. Did you know that California imports about 25% of its electricity every year? We lead the nation in imported electricity. Why? Because solar energy doesn't cut it, and batteries run out in 4 hours. And this is just a giant snafu that is costing you a lot that you wouldn't have to pay if we were sensible about it. Because you have to run the natural gas plant, the nuclear plant, the large hydroelectric plants. We could just crank all those up and have enough electricity, but no, we're going to crank them all down. We have to keep them running because the sun goes down. But once we crank them down, we're going to pretend we run on solar and wind. You're paying for all of it. And you're paying for all the damage from running these high voltage transmission lines across these vast expanses to reach the solar panels and the wind farms back to the cities. And that creates insurance risk, fire risk, all kinds of maintenance problems. A lot of the outages were actually caused by vandalism and physical attack. So they have to harden the infrastructure and make sure that that can't happen. You're paying for that. You're paying for all of it. And electricity rates have gone up 100% in the last 10 years. They've doubled in 10 years.
I'm sure you caught Bacaria's Power Hour, and he's not taking over for Schuler in the Crystal Cathedral. But the dirty little secret of that, and which has been known, I'm sure you, because you follow this, and a few of us know, we're actually paying Arizona and Nevada and Utah to take our power because during the day when he's talking about like noon, 1 o'clock, when solar's working the best, we're not at peak electricity and we're producing so much power in such a little time that it's going to burn up the wires and grids if we don't get rid of it because we have nowhere to use it. And on top of that, the people that low income that he's saying, oh, well, you're going to get free power, they're out busting their rear ends just trying to survive. What do you think? They're going to go home for 2 hours and turn on the TV and the air conditioner? I mean, the idiocracy of what he comes up with is, it's beyond stupid, Susan.
Well, it's appropriate that he's calling it the hour of power because you do have to have faith. It's not going to be real. It's just for people who believe in solar energy. The trouble is that the retail cost of the electricity, even if you totally discount that to zero, that's not the whole bill that people pay. You pay for all of that infrastructure to deliver the electricity to each address, and you pay for all of the all the overhead of the utility. So are they taking that to zero? Are they shifting that to everybody else? Are they shifting that to the same people at a different time of day? It can't really work that they can just give away free electricity. It's not like you just drive up to the supermarket and they put it in your car.
It's beyond astonishing, and I'm trying to be nice about what they're saying here. Your other caller for the week: can California's transportation wizards get anything right? I can answer that. No, not no, hell no, but Susan Shelley.
Well, I think that the purpose of the bullet train, it has a cosmic purpose of making the voters of Los Angeles County think that there is a transportation system that's worse than Metro in LA County, because otherwise you would think Metro would take the title and that would be embarrassing. Here's what Metro is doing. They're going to pay people, they're going to pay 1,200 people $600 each to park one of their cars for 5 weeks and not drive it at all. So this is it's aimed at households with 2 vehicles or more, and they will pay if you promise not to drive it, and then it has to be verified because they're going to enforce the verification. You will get $600 at the end of 5 weeks if you agree to walk, bicycle, carpool, or use public transit. Now, why are they doing this? Well, they say they're doing it to prove that public transit is wonderful and to introduce more people to the idea that there's these other ways to get around, as if everyone doesn't know that. The problem is that walking, biking, and taking public transit is not adequate for what most people want to do. Okay, so what is the enforcement? This was the part that I found fascinating. There's a company called Karma, CARMA, and they have an app, a smartphone app called Go Karma. And you can find this at gokarma.com. And here's what they sell. They sell services to governments to turn any road into a toll road by charging people through their smartphone while they're driving once they're on that road. It can see where you are through GPS. It can identify the vehicle through Bluetooth. In case someone has this on their phone and they're a passenger, no, it knows which car it's in. It knows which lane it's in. It knows how many people are in the car, whether you're carpooling or not. It knows if you're bicycling. It knows if you're walking. And all of these so-called solutions, suite of solutions that this company offers to governments, is designed to restrict driving through this complicated system of charges or credits or fines or penalties, all running through your smartphone. It's the most sinister thing I've ever seen. And if you look at this crazy Metro program, which they call the One Car Challenge, who are their sponsors? The Southern California Association of Governments, the people who want to stop everyone from driving because they think it hurts the climate. California Air Resources Board, which want to stop everyone from driving. And Metro, they want to stop everyone from driving. What are we doing? This is terrible.
They gotta be. They must have taken all the great minds, the top students, the ones that can still halfway think. They must have them all in one room coming up with this kind of stuff. Because this makes absolutely no freaking logic of anything except what I've been saying. What they've got planned for us is a 200 square foot apartment, a daily bowl of gruel, and either you're going to ride the train walk, or we may let you have an electric scooter that you can only ride on Sunday. That's about what this thing is boiling down to on this. It's absolute sinister. I mean, holy cow! I can't even. I mean, I better stop before I get myself into more trouble in this.
No, you're exactly right. And when you look back at what was done during the COVID pandemic and how close we came to absolute totalitarianism, they could, if they decided at some government office that we had a really nasty flu bug and it might be a pandemic and we have to lock everybody down to keep it from spreading, they can turn off the trains. They can lock your cell phone. They know where you are through your phone, and they can start assessing penalties. This is worse than China, what's going on here. We can't let this happen in the United States of America, where we have this total control of liberty, of transportation, of movement, enforced by the government through these idiotic laws that say driving is bad for the climate. We can't let this start.
No doubt. Got about a minute left. Tell them why they should join HJTA Go.
Because you want to get a yard sign, you want to get a door hanger, you want to get some campaign buttons, join the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. We are so excited to be doing this campaign to protect Prop 13 and protect local taxpayers. Yes on Prop 43. Mark it on your calendar for October. Yes on Prop 43, and join the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. We're at hjta.org. You can be a member. We're member supported and we welcome your membership. Just $15 a year gets you our newspaper, Taxing Times, and all the updates in the world. You can also sign up for the free email alerts. You'll want to do that just to keep up with the election information. hjta.org. Be a member of the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association.
Thanks for being on, Susan. We'll do this again next week.
Thank you, Roy.
Susan Shelley, Vice President of Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association and columnist extraordinaire for the Southern California News Group, and sometimes Cal Matters, which we dropped that one in there. Man, I can't emphasize, just after that, and if you don't, go back and reread Susan's column, Can California's Transportation Wizards Get Anything Right? They're controlling you. Leave this stupid thing at home. Do not carry it with you 24/7. Have it sitting by the bed. Yada, yada, yada. It's going to be the death. You think the COVID con was bad? You ain't seen nothing yet, to use the old cliche. They're going to control every freaking aspect. They can shut off your power. They can shut off your car. They can shut off your phone. Just at the click of a switch. They don't have to have the gas man come out, the gas or natural gas guy, and shut the meter or electricity or the water. Most places, they just do switch. If you got a car that's 25 years or newer, they can pretty much anywhere in the world, one switch shut your car off. They will be able to control, if we keep on this trajectory, they will be able to control every aspect of your life with the flip of a switch. The danger isn't the AI centers. It's the danger is what the people can do and already are doing with this little 3x5. This is the AI center that you should be concerned about, because that's what's running your life. And if we continue as we are, it's going to run you into the ground. You are going to be like that dude down in Mexico, the influencer, where the cartel member came up and went, kaboom, and it's over. On that happy note, as we usually say at this time, mandatory. You're back here in 23 Hours Wide. You're the best darn show in the whole wide world. Till then, see ya.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Just one thing. I was able to adjust her sound on the KMET sound feed I've got coming in here. So it was weird because I was messing with it, and all of a sudden she's going up and down.
That's weird.
On the same one like you're on.
Huh. Okay, that's weird.
So why didn't we have video?
She said she didn't have a video right now.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering because I'm looking for it and like going, what the hell's going on?
Like, I was waiting for it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
We still need to go up to see how we're going to get all the,
Yes, which is what. Yeah, I'm trying to make an appointment later this week.
You got it.
All right, bye.